All right, so I'm restarting the recording, guys, and this is going to be again the presentation for a roadmap for the next year and a half or so. Now, I'm gonna share my screen. The date is Monday, July the 26th, 2021, and this is where it starts. Where it starts is a general breakdown of what our phases will be and what the name of our phases will be and what the intention and goal of these three phases will be. So in this specific case, we have the adoption phase, the devotion phase, and then the explosion phase. Now, these three phases are not only characterized by different characteristics that I will list in the next few slides, but also by a specific country or city or area of reference. In this specific case, the adoption phase will only take place in New York, between New York and California. The devotion phase, ooh, sneak peek. The devotion phase will take place in the U.S., the United States, and then the explosion phase will take care around the world. So that's when we will pick different countries and then expand little into one of the most monumental expansions the world of music has ever seen worldwide. Now, when I say that the adoption phase will take place between New York and California, what I mean is we will actually focus all of our intentions, all of our attention, and all of our efforts to make sure that these two places know us. So within the next 3 months, this is the phase that I'm talking about. It's between today and September the 1st. We're talking about expanding within these two regions. So New York and California. So even if you're living somewhere else, the efforts will be towards making sure that we're contacting, surveying, and adding people mainly from New York and California. If someone from somewhere else slips in, that's okay. But mainly, we want to make sure that somehow we get known in these places. We get known in these places. We can even choose one of the two, but for now, we'd start from both to see which one picks up faster. Now, the adoption phase will be characterized by three different phases in itself. So, the first phase, which will be the survey phase, we're going to be using a survey to determine whether or not people would actually use the product, which we already know, but it's good to have it on paper in metrics with stats that tell us exactly how much they would use it, kind of, even if they might not know, but at least two would be willing to test it out. And also, the survey is a good build up to have people leave their email. And we'll talk about the survey at the very end of this. But again, that's the survey. Then the middle phase of phase one is going to be the pilot program. Based on the survey has one important question at the end. The important question at the end is okay, I see it. The important question at the end is what excites you about music? Now, this is the twist. They might not know, but what I've seen and what I've noticed is some people give a decent answer, like, oh, I love the emotions in music, I love the feelings in music, I love how fun concerts are, great. Some people will go more in depth. The people that go more in depth earn their place into the pilot program, which is a program made of people that want to talk about music, want to share their music, want to do more with what they know and what they hear and what they talent scouted before in their life. And that's why the pilot program will only be made of handpicked individuals from the survey answers. And then from there, towards the end of this phase, by September the 1st, we're actually going to launch not worldwide or countrywide, statewide in these two states, but beyond the pilot program. So let's say that 500 people answered the survey or 1,000 people answers the survey. 100 were part of the pilot program. When we launch at the end of this phase, then what's going to happen is we're actually going to send the invitation to everyone outside of the pilot program, so to the remaining 900 people in the survey, and anyone else in case we decide to add a little bit of marketing, maybe some organic advertising in the middle. Maybe we just ramp up the number from 1,000 to 10,000, because why not? We're paying for the service that allows us to send the survey to 10,000 people, and there's a lot of groups with millions and millions of individuals. So I'm not capping that number. Now, in this specific phase, the amount of money that will be required is around $150,000. Roughly, it's going to be between 150 and $250,000 based on the net capital raise, which we're allowed to raise. But I'm benchmarking it with what we know we can raise already, and that's around $150,000. And that's what we call the friends and family equity crowdfunding round. What do I mean by equity crowdfunding? Every friend and family member that decides to invest in StockKnack is not just giving free money away or gifting the money to the company. They're investing. We made it so that through net capital, we actually got accepted on this platform, which allows us to sell equity of our company to the public, with I think a minimum investment of 150 or $500 or something like that. Then the next phase, the devotion phase, my favorite phase, when things start turning spicy a little bit. Things start picking up. People start using StockNet more often than they realize. And the first, this devotion phase again will be divided into three phases. The first one of which is the impact phase. The impact phase, which is characterized by the addition of points per interactions. So, starting September 1st, we're going to have points for each interaction that a person decides to have on StockNack, whether it's listening to music, sharing music, and then people discover it from you, or just contributing to an artist's career in any other way that we decide or see fit, and you're getting points. The second phase of the devotion phase will be characterized by the knack value, the addition of a value that allows for ranking and statistics for each individual artist on the platform, potentially even outside, but initially for within the platform, which will allow people, managers, record labels, and anyone that wants to see the profile of an artist. The artist might be showing this to people, or people might be seeing it on through group chats or shares. And then you can study their career, the growth rate, how fast they're growing, and what's happening in their career in general. So you can decide whether or not to join their career, listen to their music, see what they're up to, and see if they have potential. And and then the third part of this, which is where everything connects together, this is going to be called the ranking phase. The ranking phase of the devotion phase is a phase where we mix the knack and impact together, creating an acceleration of the impact value, which allows us to do what? Every time someone invests or does something or performs an interaction with an artist, what is happening now is the impact grows by the percentage of growth of the artist's snack value. So, in simple words, what happens is the impact multiplies when the knack value grows and increases, which means that you're much more incentivized to listen, share, and contribute to the career of a small artist compared to the career of an artist that is blown up already. And in this specific phase, the angel raise, we're looking to raise around $3 million. So yeah, that's our second phase. And then the third phase, the explosion phase, when we make things happen, when we make things blow up, when we multiply everything we have created in the first 6 months. The explosion phase will start with a 10x raising capital. So at this point, since we want to expand a lot and worldwide, we're going to need more money than we expect. So we have this at an estimate of $30 million of private equity. The 10x in capital will be to just 10x all of our capital funding, but also all of our user base. So it's just a 10x mentality. Then influence. So how do we create something that is starting to be talked about? Because we need that. And this is going to be in the following ways. So paid sponsorships through the 10x Capital. We're going to be dedicating a large portion of it to sponsorships and programs where we can even sponsor artists through the platform, give them money to be on the platform, to finance their career, to show that we support artists as much as we ask for the public to support artists. And by doing so, this is actually we're paying for sponsorships and influence and ways of influencing the public, which would allow us to start getting talked about. And all of this builds up into our NFT phase, which is where the explosion will happen. Now, I foresee the NFT phase being our breach into the rest of the world. I foresee the NFT phase being something where StockKnack gets talked about, StockKnack gets shown in podcasts, videos online, talked about in the music community by music people and music influencers. And not only are we catching a wave, which is something that is happening a lot, but we're catching it in a pretty monumental way. Now, I'm gonna cap this here, just conclude for this one, and then there is more slides, but the majority of people I'm gonna show this presentation to will only have to listen until here. So that's it for now. For some people. For the rest of people, for a few selected individuals outside of the company, and then they get to see the rest of this. So, what's in the NFT phase? Why do I think that this will be one of the most monumental drops of an NFT integration made in the industry so far? Uh, this is why. Now, this is what I have in mind for the NFT phase, guys. The NFT phase will be characterized by launches of pilot programs where this time the flip is on the artist. So we select a few or a few tens of artists to get started, to whom we will offer a coupon to get scanned, the 3D scan available in every city. They use it for other purposes to make little statues of people. But little do they know that this is actually creating a 3D scan of your body. So what we will do is, for the few artists that we decide makes it on our pilot program of the NFT program, we will offer them the possibility to go get for free, which doesn't cost almost anything. It's like $50 for us to sponsor this type of this action, but they can get for free their 3D scan of whatever clothes they're wearing and wherever they are in life. Now they go get this scan. We create 4 different versions of their statues, especially in the pilot program. But later on, just people can just create these 4 versions at any point in their career or in different breaks. Maybe every time they reach like between 0 and 100 next, you can create one statue, 100 and 500, and so on. Or every 100, we can have them. We can allow them to just recreate an NFT statue. But in this specific case, a couple of peculiarities to notice about this NFT is, number one, there's gonna be bronze, silver, gold, and real real size statues. Now, or sculptures, or NFTs, or however you want to call them. What's cool about this is that in AR, I've never noticed it done before, but we should be able to kind of crop the size or limit the size of the things that you purchase in VR, which is gonna make it so that if you decide to buy the bronze, it's gonna be F to 1 the size, 3/4 to 1 for the silver, 2/3 to 1 for the gold, 1 to 1 for the real size version. Remember, guys, we're talking about the VR and AR world. I do foresee not only this being something cool that you can see on your phone and that people can see on your phone and they can scroll it around and see around the whole statue, but also I do foresee this being something very interesting once the world introduces AR glasses, which are already being worked by multiple companies, which would allow you to just place, your favorite artist somewhere in your house. Now, the second part of this, which is one of my one of the most interesting realizations or psychological, low-key addictive um, features of this NFT phase, is the following slide, which talks about number. Now, we were always thinking about how do we turn this into a profitable stock market? Why would anyone want to invest in an artist early if initially we can pay them and later on we can't pay them a lot? It's complicated. But then I thought, okay, what's a good market that just upsells, up markets, continues to rise up in price And I realized that the Vive marketplace, which I talked to you guys about before, the e-commerce marketplace, which by the way, I think it's a great investment. If you want to go through the trouble of actually spending some time tutorializing how to invest in that. But basically, they have this like 3D statues with huge licensed corporations such as Marvel, DC, and a bunch of other stuff. Like they got Ghostbusters, Superman, and a lot of fancy NFTs. But I'm not kidding when I say that everything that they drop on their marketplace, everything, everything that they drop on their marketplace, usually just goes up in value of at least at a very minimum 10 times the minute it drops. Everything sells out in a couple of minutes. Every one of their drops, even if they have 10,000 pieces, hence why it's a good investment because the value of their ecomi token is still very low despite the market just within being completely unreasonable. But every time they drop, they sell one of their 1 of 1,000, 1 of 5,000, 1 of 10,000 figurines for $50. They have a secondary marketplace within this market, within the Vive market, which allows who purchased to resell. And if they bought it for $50, you can almost guarantee that everything that is sold, whether it's common, rare, ultra rare, is gonna be sold for $500 starting price on the marketplace, with a different peculiarity and a different detail, which is very interesting. The faster you buy within this that span of few minutes where you before it sells out, the earlier NFT you get. So if you buy on second 0.0001 of this drop, you would get the version 1 of 5,000, which is the FE 1 of 5,000. Which means it's a mint condition kind of thing, like with Pokemon when you have mint 9 on 10 or so on, like a specific quality of this drop itself or the version you have. In this specific case, the same thing happens. So basically, the earlier you buy one of the statues for the artist, the earlier number you would have on the different version of the statue. Now, if you guys are not familiar with NFTs, you might not consider this to be a very big move, or like, okay, maybe you're kind of indifferent to it. I can guarantee you that this is the single most psychologically addicting component of the Vive market. Because when you see the Vive market and you see version 2000 of 5000, it usually sells for, okay, you bought it for 50, someone bought it for $50, they're reselling it for 500 on the market, secondary marketplace. If you have version, like an early version, under 100, add a zero to that. Add a zero to that. It sells for a minimum of $5,000 if you have a version under 100 on any of their drops. And they're dropping like 3 different drops per week, and every drop is like 4 different statues from a different licensing. Sometimes 1 drop, sometimes 4 drops. But numbers under 500 are worth 2.5 times the resale value in general. So if you buy for 500 the normal one, it would cost you 2,500 to have the um, an under 500 version. Under 100 it costs a lot more. The under 50 they don't even sell. People that bought versions under the number 50, under the FE mintable 50, they're just not selling. At some point in the future they will be selling these pieces for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yeah, in this one to consider is something. Number one, the bronze statues, we can give them a high number, whether it's 500 or 1,000 or 5,000. The real version 1 will actually be a 1 of 1. So I got a plan for this too. What's the plan? It integrates, or it has something to do with the pricing. Now, although the 3 different statues have different characteristics, and the first 3 are kind of interesting and you can buy them, and depending on the size you get a specific version of it. Depending on the collectibles that you have, you're gonna have a lower number on 1 of 100, 1 of 500, 1 of 1,000, based on whether you're getting bronze, silver, or gold. Why would you get one or the other? Well, at any point with any artist, if you had a bronze statue of Travis Scott that you paid $10 for, but this is the version of the statue one that has sold out a long time ago, this is gonna go up in value, but not as much as the silver one, not as much as the gold one, not as much as the real one. Now, the plan that I have for the real one is to actually constrain price and quantity, where bronze will have a different quantity from silver, silver will be much less than bronze, gold will be much less versions than silver. The real version in every jump, so whether we allow an artist to remake the statue when they are between 1 to 10, 10 to 20, or 1 to 100, and up in hundreds or up in tens, or whatever we want to do. Yes, they can remake a real statue, but there will always be of every version one of one, which is the only one colored, which shows you and can make you appreciate the actual state of the artist at that time, whether it's the clothes they were wearing, the colors they have, or like everything like that. But this statue itself is not something that everyone can purchase. This statue itself is something that only one person can purchase, and to unlock this statue, you have to be supporter number one for that artist. Now, that is the first conditional. So you can't be a very, very rich kid and be this guy unless you decide to somehow contribute to the artist's career and have access to it. Now, when I say 1,000 times the knack value of the artist, this is the second component. Whatever knack value the artist has, you multiply that by 1,000, and that is the conditional price of the one of one version. So at the beginning of an artist's career, it's going to be a minimum of $1,000. Later on, as the artist goes up and up in value, this is going to start turning much more expensive. If the artist is at the top level, such as Drake level, kind of, which we kind of said around the $1,000 mark, it's going to cost you $1 million to buy their statue, which does seem like a lot, but there's a lot of big fish in the market. But more importantly, you're probably going to ask, well, not every first supporter can afford a $1,000 statue, right? Even at the very beginning of someone's career. It's kind of unfair, isn't it? The thing is, let it linger. Let it linger over there until the artist is ready to have someone that is ready to sponsor them and give them $1,000 to buy more equipment than they expect. So at the end of the day, the most important part of this specific piece choice is it will create a way for us to structure an artist's career so that we give them as much money as they would need at that specific phase of their career, as well as giving the audience a reason to spend more or less or earlier. So now, with that said, this concludes the roadmap slides, the presentation on the roadmap, and this is gonna be the second cliff, the close group of people that I will show the NFT phase to, or that is seeing this second part of the presentation ends here. And from here, what I'm gonna do is just a second part for just team members. And the part for team members is regarding, oh yeah, okay, I had the end slide. Should have had that in there. But all right, so the last two slides are just for team members. And this is what it says. So there's gonna be new surveys. So with the Franco, with input from Luca, and I don't know if anyone else gave input, maybe Giacomo, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Giacomo gave input, but from input from these three people, I actually put together a new version of the survey, which not only is pretty cool, it flows fast. I've seen a couple of people answer it, and it's enjoyable. You don't mind it, and it kind of brings up some memories of your music journey and why you listen to music in general. But I actually made individual surveys for each one of us, which I will post the hyperlinks to in the Flame meeting chat at the end of this presentation. Now you're gonna ask, well, why am I separating them? Although you're probably figuring it out, but drum roll, we're actually turning it into a contest. So, what's the contest about? For the next 3 months, for the next month or so, so until the end of this discovery adoption phase, we're gonna be sending surveys to everyone, and with these individual surveys, and the reason why you gotta make sure that you're using your own, unless you want to feed someone else's bucket, But there's going to be a contest in place, and this contest is under the form of stock options. The evaluation of the stock options is $1.5 million for the company. Standard rate for a company at this level, even lower than I think it should be, but it's okay. Right now we can prove it. And it's just going to be like this. At the end of the period on September 1st, the person with the most surveys answered, so with the most responses, will get $1,000 in stock options for StocKnack. The second place will get 500, and the third place will get 250. Now, 250 might not seem like a lot, but wait till we multiply the shit out of it, and this is gonna be a sizable investment. So I'm telling you, don't treat this lightly. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So with this said, guys, the presentation is over. So open floor for any comments, anything you're thinking, and then we'll just talk about what you guys think about the phases. If there's anything you would want to add, remove, or blah 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 blah. You know, the end part questions. You know.
Julio,
What up?
just one question about the last thing that you said. How someone is going to take this 1,000 or 500
So
doing the survey and
no wait. Oh yeah, just a survey. So it's responses on the survey.
Hey Julio, can I answer Giacomo for a second? In the end, there's no need for anybody to participate because we already know who's gonna come in number one.
I'll leave you second place. It's okay. I'm getting competitive about this one, man. You have no idea.
Julio, everybody can compete for the silver and the bronze now that we're in the Olympics, but everybody knows who the gold medal is going to go to. That's a foregone conclusion, as I would say.
Yeah.
Is that for your guys' team, or is that advisors as well?
Anyone that's listening to this call, including the people that are going to be listening to the recording. Oh, damn. Luca just left. I don't think, did he see the contest part? Look at what you're crazy over this. No, he didn't leave. He's here. He was just switching phones. But yeah, anyone that's watching this call, including the people that are watching the recording.
Okay, well, I think I have the most followers here, so I'm gonna win this one. Sorry about
it. Man, it's about the hustle. You know, the turtle and the fast guy. What's his name? The rabbit.
The hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I also have.
Yeah.
Hey, Ash K, I like your confidence. I love a young man's confidence. But do you see the gray hair in his beard? You may have a lot of followers, but I have more gray hairs than you have followers. So there's no way for you to
win. Thank you. I think you're fighting on my side.
Turning competitive already. Woo-hoo, let's do it. But Giacomo, was your question answered, by the way?
No.
Okay. I was about to say. So I'm gonna send you the link, and you're gonna have your own individual link. Which, by the way, guys, little parenthesis, little like side note, you can modify it. So if you want to modify it, I'm gonna give you access, or you can just ask me, and I can modify it for you. Which means that step one in this survey game is gonna be answer your own survey. So I can make sure the survey is connected to your survey, and I put the right hyperlink. I might have messed up, and maybe I put someone else's hyperlink in yours when I was doing copy and pasting yesterday at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I would say answer your own survey. Wait till I give you a confirmation, which please do it soon, like after this call, so we don't have to wait until tomorrow and lose the momentum. But I can just, hey, you answered the survey very easily. It's like a 1.5 minute survey. Once everyone is done, I'm gonna confirm with you that yes, it's ready. Yes, it's connected. Yes, the answers go to your own answer, to your own responses. Then you can modify if you want to modify. You do your thing. And then after that, what happens, Giacomo, is for every survey that gets answered through the link that you got, the type form is going to show a number on there and the responses and all of that, including even if you have different responses and you decided to modify it. But still, let me know before you modify so we can discuss the change, because maybe it's something that we would want to integrate with every other survey or not. Now, twist, there are 53 surveys that were answered already by people that you guys sent this to, I'm gonna say that's a little bit of a punishment because we did say in the Slack group that the survey wasn't ready. I think I answered as soon as Franco posted it. So you guys used the wrong survey to some extent, which is still okay. Like you don't have to resend to those same people the second new survey. There is no need for that. Might also be awkward if you just sent it to people that you don't know very formal, like that you don't know informally. So in that case, if they're not familiar enough for you to resend the survey, you kind of lost those surveys. Next time, make sure you look at the Slack messages before sending. Although that's kind of on me and Franco. We should have coordinated better. But yeah, that's it for me. I'm not speaking.
Yeah, and at the end, we'll be able to show like the full breakdown of the answers and responses for each question. And then overall, you could see like exactly where the participants stopped answering questions. So we know like which questions get them stuck and things like that. So even over the course of the month and a half, feedback is welcomed to optimize the survey with any little changes that we think will improve the response rate as well.
Just as a small feedback, my brother took the survey. He didn't know what an NFT was.
Like, we're not talking about NFTs in the survey. Okay. He should though. He should. Man, that's the world is gonna run around it. You know.
We're old men.
But the Mona Lisa is gonna know about the crypto cat. Maybe a little crypto kitty. Man, that thing is worth like what, $100,000 right now? Maybe a few millions for the first versions. But yeah, we're probably gonna reuse type form for next phases before sending out the next phases, asking people, would you want to have an NFT with an artist? But for now, the NFTs are kind of.
Yeah, potentially that's a good suggestion. Well, indirect suggestion. We could also have an option there on the NFT question to say, I don't know what an NFT is, right? Instead of answering the choices. And then we can actually see how much in terms of demographic and response rate do people even know what an NFT is, because that will change our marketing too, right? In the upcoming future, right? That means anytime we put out something regarding these new technologies, it needs to be a marketing with an explanation behind it as well, which will clarify a lot of questions for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also keep in mind that, okay, this I wasn't clear about in the presentation, but the phases themselves also have an area of focus. So technologically, the first phase will not, like, if we're not in that phase, it's useless to talk about other phases with the general public. We can talk about it between ourselves for pure fun and enjoyment of the conversation, because I know we love conversations about stuff that's far into the future and vision. But in general, or maybe with investors, some investors might know all the phases. Some investors will just tell them the next one, and it should be more than enough. But with the general public, every phase, it's almost like that's our company. If we're in adoption phase, devotion, impact, knack, and NFTs, they don't even exist. They're not in our plans. We don't know what we're doing with it. You know, they don't exist.
Is the NFT in the survey?
Not in my survey. It's
okay. So that's a big difference. Okay.
Yeah. Also, yeah, Franco, modify your survey in that case, because I forgot yours might still have the NFT even in the version that I modified.
Yeah.
Template for. But yeah, so the technology on the first phase, on the adoption phase. So I'll just tell you guys this one, so I don't tell you the other two, because although I told you kind of the other two, for the technology for the other two. But in the adoption phase, the technology will be revolving around. It's a music lounge. It's a music lounge, a virtual music lounge, which creates a more fun and dynamic music exploring and discovering experience. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. So we're working on that. Like, you know, it's still hard for me to kind of pitch that this adoption phase, but basically, like, all we're gonna have on there is group chats with you can create them with friends, with individual people, with public chats towards the end of this phase, more towards the beginning of the devotion phase. But basically, like, there's gonna be group chats. You can create the group chats, join the group chats, and then every group chat is going to have within all the songs you shared with each other, the songs you liked between the songs you shared with each other, whether it's with a group or with an individual person. So it's basically like this very super powered, overcharged playlist, community playlist building feature, which is just gonna make music sharing and music discovering at a social level much more simple, much more interactive, much more there to stay rather than on a chat that you scroll up and you forget. Much more integrative in your daily life. You can press the shuffle button and listen to all of the songs that were shared in the chat instead of having to click one by one every individual link like you do on iMessage. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So in the adoption phase, we're just, this is what we're using, this is what we're pushing. I think we kind of a mistake, guys. I think I gave ourselves way too little time. September 1st. I don't want to go back on my word, but potentially that September 1st is like the end of the survey phase. Because now that I think about it, fuck, we're not gonna have the technology until September 1st.
We could make the timeline whenever the technology is first available for all of us to use. That could be our timeline. So it could be within a margin of a month to a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
A month and 3/4. So we can make that the timeline if we want.
All right.
Julio,
This means
I have
all right. Yeah, what's up, Darwin?
I have a question probably on what you were saying. How do you go? How do you go from one phase to the next? You have a timeline, or you have on money raised on, or
Yeah,
something
metrics.
else?
I think metrics is a
Yeah,
big one.
great question, because that's actually what I was saying. Like that's where I messed up. I should have considered a bit more this, but it's a mix of things. So in theory, it's almost like we gotta check off all the boxes. We gotta check off all the boxes before we jump to the next phase. The 3 boxes that we need to check on adoption phase are: number 1, does it seem like people are using without having to be told? So that's the adoption, the concept of adopting. People are adopting the StocKnack as a component of their daily life. The second box that needs to be checked off on that first phase would be $150,000 raised. Until we raise $150,000, we're not going to jump to the next phase, but we're going to do so. I didn't say it in there, but angels will actually be used more towards this phase, like starting from this phase and then in the $3 million raise. But venture capitalists might be used in the $3 million raise. Angels in this first raise. Friends and family will be, we know we can guarantee at least $50,000 from friends and family, more for priority. We want them to have a piece of what they helped us shape. And therefore, after we raise $150,000, then we check off the last box, which is, has September 1st happened yet? If it has, then all these 3 boxes are checked, boom, next phase. It's gonna be a fucking sprint right now, because I already presented September 1st. The investors and people that are gonna be seeing this presentation, or the first part of this presentation, will know that timeline, which means that now, okay, we're gonna have to speed things up. But it's all right. It's all right. A little bit of challenge never hurts nobody. And then same thing, like I'm not even gonna tell you about the other phases, Giacomo, but the same concept applies. So in the second phase, we see devotion, people like talking about StocKnack, sharing StocKnack with their friends, protecting StocKnack on a conversation of StocKnack versus something else. If that's okay, yes. Did we raise $3 million? Yes. Is it January 1st already? Yes. Now that date I'm particularly, I care about particularly, because I do want to celebrate for the first of the year with the jump to the third phase. That'll be a dope New Year's plan. We just start the 2022 with balls of steel, and also potentially some of you might actually be with me in Italy. I know 3 of you, 3-4 of you are going to be there. For those that are not, guys, my parents have a house in Italy, in Rome. Be there between October and January. So if you want to come visit, you're more than welcome to. And then Giacomo, the last phase, then it's that's something that I'm planning. Like, it's gonna run for a year, but it's never gonna end. That phase is never gonna end. It starts with the NFTs, and then it starts turning into the second marketplace, like the secondary marketplace and all of this stuff. But then we'll start checking the boxes. But great question.
So my question is, now maybe it's the right time to set up a business model based on each phases. and based on what feature we wanna include on each phases. So yeah, this is my accountability as a CFO, and also your accountability, Julio, as a CEO. But yeah, maybe we're gonna start after the beta, the first prototype of the beta comes in, comes out. But
Not even necessary. We can start running some numbers now that things are a little bit more precise. Or we can choose some numbers. We can tell ourselves, okay, if this is the number that we want, did we reach it? If not, by how much? Did we pass it? If yes, by how much? And so on. So yeah, we can plan a little bit. I'm down to discuss business model.
no, in particular to show up to the investor a strategy to get an income from our business.
For sure.
So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, I see. More
Yeah,
conceptual.
this is a financial plan based on your strategic plan. So it's very related.
Okay.
So yeah.
We can talk about it like anytime, even tomorrow and the end of the week.
A little timeline updates for the beta. So we are wrapping up legal documents today and tomorrow, signing everything, and then we're going to start. John has one of his senior designers who's going to look at all of our current designs, take all of that and create the first initial wireframes. As well as this week, we're going to be reviewing all of the current code that was written and analyze the API integrations and if they are all compatible with our new code base. Then we'll utilize that and save multiple weeks of time. So I'll be able to give you guys that update sometime this week. And then by the end of this week, it's our goal to start coding. And then that starts the 4 week to 6 month, 4 week to 6 week sprint to get the beta out. So that's what everything's looking like right now.
Right. So 6 weeks, I'm scared because that we completely bypass the September 1st deadline timeline. So I would have to re-record this presentation. So hopefully, fingers crossed, some of the content or the code is actually usable. Because if we skim a few weeks, then we might be able to actually meet this deadline. Timeline, not a deadline. Timeline. Okay. Thank you for the info, Franco.
May I ask a simple question, Julie, on go? I've seen people have created beautiful StocKnack merchandise. If I wanted to like get a StocKnack, some of those T-shirts or shirts with the StocKnack on it now, do we have a functionality where I could like buy one and have it mailed to me today?
We don't, but we'll get one to you. The easier way for
me. You don't have to get it to me. I'd rather purchase it. I want to figure out if I just, because I love the StocKnack logo. I know there's been a lot of artwork put in there. If I said, is there something I can push where I can be like, hey, let me order a StocKnack T-shirt or order a StocKnack sweatshirt or a StocKnack hat.
Bob.
Right now, I could Zelle you, right? I could Zelle you for money for that, but we should start merchandising because that would be an easy medium for income stream now. Because I want the T-shirts; they're beautiful, but I'm like, I don't know how exactly to purchase one of them, right?
So Luca, let's integrate this in the social media. Why not? This could be like along the things that we do in the social media. We also run that. I know, Luca, you wanted to get into a shirt designing as well as production.
No, my idea is start to product on myself some T-shirts, some design. So I want to get to buy the equipment to do that, and I can be the customer, the supplier for the StocKnack.
Yeah.
Hey Luca, one of my things to do list today is 2 of those T-shirts I want to buy off you. One black one, one white one. We'll get offline. We'll talk about it, but that'll be a money generator because I'd love to have 2 of those T-shirts, and we'll figure out how to this.
I feel like you can even incorporate that in some of the, like the drops, Julio, because if you look at like how like Nelk Boys do their shit, right, full send and everything like that, they do their drops and they have like, oh, this t-shirt, this t-shirt, this t-shirt, and then Luca can have like the first StocKnack fucking shirt that was ever made, and then that one's a one of one original, and the design is never going to be made again, whatever, right? And on the inside it's stitched in one of one or whatever it is, right? You can kind of include in that NFT kind of culture behind it as well.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah,
That's actually something we were talking about, like jokingly, because I always say, like, I never use the orange StocKnack shirt because I'm like, this is the first one I ever made. I'm keeping this. At some point, it's gonna be worth millions. But I like what you said regarding including the tag inside, because integrating this psychology into it, then we can kind of dedicate drops to the phases, let the public in on these phases, but also include it in our crowdfunding page, where if you donate more than this month, or like if you invest, not donate, fuck the word donate. You're investing. If you invest more than this much, you also get this shirt delivered. This actually goes. I don't think you've ever seen it. You were in the company, yeah. You want to
people love seeing. People love wearing and like kind of like showing pride in what they love and what they stand for and all that kind of stuff. And like, dude, imagine that shit's like, oh shit, like this musician was on concert and wore this StocKnack shirt and blah, blah, blah. There's a fucking article that's going to be written about just the fact that he wore that fucking shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I would take that to another step and say, like, so I don't know if you guys remember the content creators that I always talk about. They're called the Yes Theory, right? And they have a lot of ideas and you could say brand around their theme of seeking discomfort, right? And so we could do things around that in the same sense, right? So we have the StocKnack logo, right? But then we can also have lots of 2 or 3 word phrases that resemble our mission, our brand, right? What we're trying to put out into the world. For instance, like it could be like StocKnack logo. On the back, you could say music is unity, right? Or you could say I invest in musicians, all right? Or you could say NFT for life, right?
Music influencer.
All of these phrases that resemble parts of our brand that also represent an idea that someone wants to be proud about when they're wearing it, right? And those could each be individual drops that we do. So
right, like I have impact on one of the back of the fucking shirts or something, right? And it's just like, oh shit, that's a fucking Easter egg for StocKnack. If you know, you know what I mean? Like that would even be a shirt I would wear. Fucking got the logo right here, and then on the back it says like IFKYK, right? Like if you know. Fucking
Actually, you know what is interesting? People buy brands. Here's would be my last comment is, in the end, with what we're doing, the movement that you're trying to create or we're trying to create as a team, people buy brands. Brands have value. And I think that focusing on creating value for the brand of StocKnack, particularly with the artistic nature of it, would be a huge value proposition, whether it's an NFT or actual physical t-shirt, sweatshirt, hat.
Right. And Bob, you're so correct, because this is the exact same thing that I'm doing with my brand for my company right now, right? For the company that, Julio's, been seeing me grow and everything like that. We're also doing branding pushes and, merch selling and all of that kind of stuff. And that just helps kind of rebuild your, your viewpoint and how truthfully, like, and ironically impact for where your brand is going and how much people can see it and all of that kind of stuff, right? It has leaps and bounds of differential, like, impact that you can bring into your business and how much people see it and shit. And then you can kind of like express yourself in a different way as well, right? Like I'm getting baseball jerseys of my fucking logo, and on the back, like I'm gonna have the only one that says CEO on the back of it. You know what I mean? But it's in my colors, the black and gold and shit like that. And I'm getting that for every single member of the team, and they're only gonna have a one-of-one jersey for for their role.
Yeah, and combining our brand with many other brands, even if it's not a sponsorship, like, and we would have to check the legality of this, but imagine having like an Izu logo of some sort on your shirt and then StocKnack as well in a combination, right? And that's not even doing a partnership, right? But then you actually take partnerships into play. Oh my God, like forget it, right? Now you're tapping into millions and hundreds of millions of fans that already are brand ambassadors of that YouTube channel, of that content creator, of that brand and company. And now we partner with them with our own collaboration drop. So the marketing potential is really endless because we have such a good mission, right?
Let's get full send to fucking put StocKnack on their shirts.
Here's
Yeah.
here's a next here's the next monetizable step that I've heard from this. Luca, Akshay, Julio, Franco is I've applied for it before, but through the TPO, the PTO Patent and Trademark Office, is the StocKnack logo that has been created, has it been patented and trademarked? Because that's just a quick process. We should patent and trademark, get a patent and trademark of the StocKnack logo. I think that's the next step. It usually takes about 6 months, but it's just filing some paperwork with the Patent and Trademark Office.
How much?
But I think that would,
You
I
know
heard
the
talk like,
cost?
I'll pay for it. It's only like 300. It's only application fees, like $400 if I. But yeah,
It's not like $60,000 patent for.
no, you can patent and trade. Yeah, original design you can patent and trademark. Last time I did it for what's her name? It was probably at the end of the day, it probably cost $456. It's just application fees. I'll do the heavy lifting and file the paperwork. But I think that's an idea.
That'd be fantastic. So it's the logo, the name, and then also, right, we discussed that the app itself is going to be called Music Lounge. Now we also want to have some fancy design around the letters of Music Lounge, right? Maybe some music elements or something in there. We haven't discussed who's going to take that as a responsibility to put that design up, but at least the words for now, StocKnack, Music Lounge, the words can be trademarked, and then also the logo as well.
That sounds amazing, guys. I love this. I love this because, you know, it's all ideas that, man, I'm interested about. I want to be a part of it. And I'm like, I'm already part of it, but, you know, I like the shirt idea. I want to show you guys something. I mean, this is something that Luca and Franco already sew. I don't know who else sew this, but.
All right, team, I gotta head out of here.
All right. I'll send you something after I'm done. This is something you're gonna love because this is the concept of the shirts, and you'll see it. You'll see it. I'm gonna send you something. But all right, Akshay, thank you for being here. If you don't have any other questions or comments, close it here.
Bye, Akshay.
So yeah. Anything?
Did you still want to show us? Or you want to show us on the next meeting?
Should on the next, more than the next meeting. It's more like, okay, I'll just find it later and post it. But
Sure.
You guys remember the bronze gold? Yeah.
I think it has something like that has to be done very intently so that the actual differentiation between all three is in itself the asset for why people want to buy the more expensive shirt. You don't just want to drop and saying, oh, we have 3 tiers, but it has to really mean something more than that. So obviously before we drop something like that, we obviously discuss with whoever the lead marketing person is, but no, it's a very cool, and all the shirts look great. So.
No, my only question is, what name do you want to put it on the shirt as a brand?
Logo and then
but is not.
Oh no, the name, yeah. So the name needs to be Music Lounge. We can't have Music Lounge and StocKnack. It's competing brand names for right now.
We don't even write Music Lounge, or we might. Oh no, we write the Music Lounge.
If that's the official app name, then that's going to be our branding.
Yeah, we should. We're gonna
like the same thing. Like Google doesn't have Google on their shirts and then Alphabet as well, right? Like I think they keep it separate.
Yeah, and also, so we're switching the Instagram tag on the hoodies. So basically, the Instagram is gonna be @Music Lounge. We didn't even look it up. Is it available? Imagine it's not available. It's sad. No, it wouldn't suck. That's okay. You know, we can write like StocKnack, like Music Lounge. No, wait. Okay, that would be kind of complicated. I really hope this is available. I'm gonna look it up later. But
and what I was gonna say is, Luca, I know I can't get the one. I know that Julia has the one-of-one StocKnack apparel, but I don't want you to just send it to me. I literally want to figure out how today I can purchase the StocKnack apparel. So when I go out and I go to the beach, I have on a StocKnack shirt. When I go out in Florida, I have on a StocKnack hat. So I love it enough that I'm willing to like buy the whole StocKnack, whatever.
Like this, Bob.
That's what I'm talking about. Why is this merchandise not available already? I don't understand. Right? There's a whole revenue stream. There's a whole revenue stream. I want one of those offline. I'm gonna call you, Luca, and I want one of the hats. I want 2 of the t-shirts. What else do we have?
But-
Because I'm about to go shopping today, but I was like, I need some StocKnack gear.
Just
Oh,
Luca,
2 hats. My mom I heard from the background. I want 2 StokKnack hats. But yeah, I love it.
Luca's suggestion before you you make any big purchases regarding like machines and stuff like that, look at the prices for some of the main suppliers of custom shirts like this in the US and compare it to the cost it would be to do it in-house for you, because the cost for you to do in-house is not just the cost of the machine, it's also shipping, which is usually the most expensive part of the whole printing process.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Exactly.
So if it's
It's not just the
super
cost.
cost effective.
It's not just the cost, Luca, it's also your creative freedom. If you get it at home, the most you can do under a few $100 is screen print 1 layer. To add colors, oh my fucking god, it's gonna cost you like a few $1,000s unless you
Yeah, for example, to product my t-shirt, this one,
Mhm.
2 prints, one on the back. This is a digital printing,
Mhm.
the cheaper one, the most cheaper.
But yeah, look, I would say find.
Wait, no,
Yeah, no, to
outside.
print,
That's
the cost was 50 euro, so maybe $58.
We can definitely, that will definitely be cheaper in the US, I think.
Yeah, but depends on what technique do you want to use for printing the.
That's Luca. That's for you to discuss and get back to us on what's the most efficient and best way, and then give us the cost and tell us which website is going to allow us to do the customizations the best. Cool. All right, guys. I think we got to wrap it up now. Bob, I know you said you were going to send the documents to me, so please send them to me today so we can review it and
Yep.
sign it.
Yep, I will have those documents to you by close of business today. No problem, Franco.
Sounds good. Thanks. All right, guys. Julia, great presentation. It looked fantastic, by the way. We'll talk on. We'll have another meeting on Friday.
That's great. So this is what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna be sending you guys the links, your individual survey links, and then if I find it, the little extra bonus thing. But all right, okay.
Cool.
Joe,
Thank you guys for being here. Not for you.
Giulio, see the message that I sent to you.
All right, guys.
But
Ciao.
Franco,
okay, bye guys.
good day. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, you're right. I should add the part.
Vabbè, siamo solo noi 3.
Però aspetta che sta
vai.
registrando. Devo trovare il modo di fermarlo. Ma cazzo di fermo sto cosa?
Stop.
Okay. All right. So that is it. So done. All right.